Hola, hoy estoy aquí para contarles acerca de mi transición a los Estados Unidos y la importancia de pensar positivamente en este tipo de transiciones. Para ponerse en mi lugar, basta imaginarse estar en una habitación llena de gente y tú no entiendas nada de lo que te están diciendo. Esta es mi historia. Well, did you get any of that? Whenever this happened to me, I used to smile and reply, yeah, hoping that this wasn't a question. If you're wondering what I just said, I just presented myself in my first language, Spanish. I am originally from Chile, and the town where I used to live in was absolutely beautiful. A small town situated by a magnificent lake and surrounded by mountains and untamed wilderness. Many of you have heard of this place, Patagonia, but only a few can call this place home. When I was 14 years old, my parents told me that we would be moving to the United States. To be honest, I didn't want to move at all. My friends, my family, all I ever knew was there. But this decision wasn't up to me. So I packed my things and asked my little brother to put my suitcase in the car on our way to the airport. But you know what? He apparently forgot. Fact that he still denies until nowadays. Long story short, I arrived to the US with simply what I was wearing, leaving my friends, culture, language, even my dogs, some wonderful Great Danes. Pretty much everything I had behind. Even though the process of moving was a painful experience, when I look back, I realize that I have learned so much more in the last few years than what I could have accomplished if I had stayed in Chile. So this got me thinking, why do we fear changes? Most of us are afraid to what we don't know. Mario Andretti, a world champion racing driver, said, if everything seems under control, you're just not going fast enough. This phrase really gets me. I felt that way in Chile. Everything was under control. I knew which direction I was heading, but I wasn't going fast enough. I wasn't learning as much as I could have. Being in the US forced me to be in a place that I wasn't familiar with. Being in a place where things are not under our control exposes to many things that we wouldn't otherwise. And it's exactly in those moments when we really learn. But why is it so difficult for us to face new challenges? The first thing that came to my mind is that we have the wrong mentality. Whenever we're offered something new, our initial thoughts are usually negative. Think about it. When was the last time that someone offered you a new opportunity, something new, and you decided not to change and you stuck with your plan? This could be something as simple as going out to eat, taking a new class, or trying a new recreational activity. Or to some more significant decisions, such as moving to a new city or changing jobs. The answers that we hear to these prepositions usually are, I'm not feeling like it. It would be too much work. I don't want to start all over again. There's nothing wrong with those answers. But if you analyze them, you realize that they are all focusing on the negative. They are all focusing on what you would lose if you take that specific action. We often get sold on the negative and reject an idea without even considering the positive and what you would gain if you took that specific action. Most people underestimate the cost and overestimate the reward. No, sorry. Most people are unwilling to go through change because they overestimate the cost and underestimate the reward. When was the last time that someone offered you something new? And did you ever consider the gain? Did you overestimate the cost and underestimate the reward? As I told you before, I didn't want to move to the US. I was considering what I was going to lose without considering what I was going to gain. When I arrived to the US, I knew I lacked the level of English to have a conversation, or even to understand what other people were saying. On one of the first days of school, I raised my hand to answer a math question. And on the middle of the sentence, the words wouldn't come to me. I stayed there in awkward silence while my classmates turned around to look at me, waiting for an answer. My face started getting all red. I even started sweating. I didn't know what to do. So I stood up and drew the answer on the board. Like any other kid in this situation, I was terrified. Because of this, and many experiences like it, I barely spoke the first 2 weeks of school. Each time I spoke, my accent and grammatical errors would make people literally turn around to look at it. But then I realized that by remaining quiet, I wasn't learning anything. And if I wanted to gain something out of the situation, I needed to speak. And little by little, the embarrassment went away, and my English began to improve. And here I am today in front of you all. If you had told me 3 years ago that I would be speaking on a TED Talk, I would have probably had to smile and reply, yeah. I believe that this is a clear example of how my mindset affected my learning. At the beginning, I chose to face this with the negative mindset, and then I chose to face this with the positive mindset. It has been proven again and again that the mindset we have greatly influences our outcome. As Helen Keller said, keep your face to the sunshine and you will not see a shadow. How many times have you faced a challenge with a negative attitude or already known that you were going to fail? I am confident that you had a lesser amount of success in those situations than when you face a challenge already knowing that you were going to succeed. A Stanford study showed that 88% of success is positive thinking, while the other 12% is education. There are also many athletes that support this point. For example, Michael Jordan said that 80% of his success was mental, not skill and not physical. Fear kills more dreams than failure ever will. So in the future, when you're faced with a challenge, I invite you to think positive and to analyze the situation and consider all the possible gains and go step by step, enjoying the process of learning new experiences. As Confucius said, he who says he can and he who says he can't are both usually right. Which one of those people do you want to be? Thank you.